They can't.
How do you explain?
Exactly.
Sometimes you buy fuel for 20,000, 30,000 naira, which ordinarily should be maybe a quarter tank or half, and you're seeing you are leaving the places like your light is coming on, and you say, what's the problem? You see, so the common man wants to understand this in terms of food on the table, being able to pay transport, being able to pay his children's school fees. Yeah. These basic things, food, shelter, are not affordable anymore. Maybe people have paid their rent for last year coming, but between January and June next year, you will see a lot of people who become homeless because house rents will have expired and they will need to renew. Because they will not be able to renew, there will be a lot of cases or people will be thrown out.
Yes.
You will see children will resume in January. There will be no money to pay school fees. Now, this is not a negative prophecy, but this is fact, because you need to have money first to feed before you can think of
any other thing.
Now, the basic thing, even food in itself, is not enough. People just eat. They don't wonder whether it's balanced diet.
Exactly, just to make their tummy feel full.
So we have not had it this bad. Government at all levels should begin to have a rethink. Let's appreciate the IMF policies, but let's come back to ourselves and say, what do our people really need? How can we help our people? And I don't think it's like throwing money at the thing. If you give every Nigerian 1 million now, in 1 week's time, we'll all come back. The money will have gone to the hands of those who can use it.
Exactly.
So let's have policies to people who are able to inject this as meaningful as it can be into the life of Nigerians, to bring back happiness, to bring back joy, and to bring back a sense of belonging in this country. That's what we need. The statistics are scary, but when we give it a human face and transform that into a solution that can help Nigerians, it will make more sense. I've seen some social policies that are being churned out, the issue of the CNG buses, palliatives for people, and then even training and support system for MSMEs and all of that. But I think also these things take a lot of time in the process. We should be able to, as soon as we announce them, before we announce, they should be fully packed and ready to go. Once you announce, kickstart. They sold rice at 40,000 naira. I know how many people got those rice.
It's not everybody that got it.
Yeah, I mean, very few. The portal shut down on the first day that they opened it, and even those who managed to get some, say, please, I don't want to tell you how I got this rice, because it is not 40,000 eventually. But who is checking that process? If you say, look, we had school home under the former administration, we had homeschool feeding, and children were at home. It's supposed to be homegrown school feeding for children who are at school, but that minister is still trying to answer and explain that thing up till now. So generally, I think Nigerians deserve some explanation. Nigerians deserve some answers. And much more than that, Nigerians deserve a president who comes down to their level and speaks to their needs directly.
Indeed. All right, let's look at another, raging issue at this point in time, even though I still have lots and lots of questions, regards to, I wanted to talk about the IMF, World Bank, but hey, that will be going back to I don't know what to say, because recently there was a back and forth between NLC accusing the IMF, but I'm also asking about economic sovereignty of a nation, that if a foreign body or neocolonial body like that would recommend and it doesn't seem to fit the local context, shouldn't there be a reversal, as we've seen in some cases across other nations? But let's leave it like that at that. The Northern Governors Forum, chaired by Gombe State Governor, has rejected the derivation-based model for VAT distribution in the new tax bill that is currently in the National Assembly for deliberation. By the way, I think that has gone through the first reading. In a communique signed by the chairman of the forum, Mohammed Inwa Yahya, governor of Gombe State, after the meeting between the elders and governors of the northern states, the forum frowned at the proposition, stating that it is against the interests of the North and other subnationals. And the forum called on members of the National Assembly to oppose the legislation and any other that jeopardize the interests of the people of the North. Now, we all know about this new tax bill that is based on derivation, or so your region produces a setting, so you would have to take that, and then every other region would, derive from what they produce. And it's looking like the Northerners are vocal about this and are saying that it's like a something against the North, a sort of conspiracy. What's your take on that?
Well, ultimately, the rejection of the VAT by northern governors highlights significant regional disparities and ongoing debate about fiscal policies in Nigeria, because if it underscores the need for a more cohesive approach to revenue generation and distribution that consider diverse economic landscape, and that's not what we have done. The key issues in this point for me is that number one is revenue distribution. Many northern states believe that the current VAT system disproportionately benefits southern states, particularly those with larger economic activities, and this could deepen regional inequality. And that's a fact. But also there's the economic pressure. And northern governors may be reacting to this economic pressure by their constituents and their fans and their state people. Given the existing challenges of poverty and unemployment, additional taxes could seem to be a
Don't you
huge
think
burden.
this is just going to make them come up on their, everybody will now go to the drawing table and see what they can begin to do? Because if you are depending on other regions for what they are producing, then how about you? Can't you do something,
Well, the debate around VAT also ties into the broader discussions about fiscal responsibilities of federal and state governments. You understand? Northern governors may advocate for a more equitable revenue sharing system that aligns with the economic realities. Now, if you look at one time, there was particularly during the Obasanjo regime, there was a massive creation of local governments. One state, I think Katsina, for instance.
Borderlines Debate, a symposium on the Middle East crisis on Thursday, November 7th at 4 p.m. An exclusive.
Hi everyone, my name is Swat. That's the name my father gave me, but you can always call me Her Vocal Majesty. I'm the host of The Sunny Side on 95.1 Nigeria Info. It takes place every weekday, noon to 3 p.m., where we get to have all the lovely contemporary conversations. If your days are normally long and gloomy, well, not anymore, because I'm here to make it all bright and sunny for you. So join me. It's an invitation. You don't want to miss out.
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. 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 This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info.
To get money from the federal government. But at some point, in his own wisdom, he said, look, what is in the constitution is 774 local governments. So we're still going to give you money based on your local 774. If you need extra, you can share with. That's what actually grounded that. If not by today, I'm sure Nigeria will have had over 2,000 local governments already. Now, that's a very weird way of reacting to not federal policies. Because money comes at that level and is shared between federal government, state, and local government. You want to create more local government so you can have more money. But nobody's talking about development at even the third tier. Now, that's a problem. You raised the point about VAT. VAT is key because if VAT is done well, there will be increased revenue. There will be economic diversification and improved services. There will be, of course, fairness and compliance. But there's a bigger problem even with the VAT people. A lot of them are riddled with corruption. A lot of them, the administrative capacity is below par. Many of Nigerian tax administration face challenges, including inefficiency and corruption. And these are some things that we need to talk about. Without significant reforms, effective implementation may be difficult. Even the current one we are facing, tell people, they'll just give you banded figures at you and tell you to pay. No real calculations are done. And people are complaining. Small businesses are winding down because they cannot fathom how you are charging me so much for this. Now, if the people perceive this new policy as bad, it will already hit the rock before it's even started. And we're beginning to see that with the governors rejecting it. It's not that governors don't want their people taxed. It's just that there is an understanding that if you do this, it will cause empathy with our people, to cause our people to be sad, and it may fall off on us that we are their leaders and we have not stood on their ground. So governors are hitting this to just tell you that no. And I believe that if you need to do a new tax regime, there should be consultation, and governors need to be involved. People, if you say that the only part, it is not just the derivation part that they are complaining. Derivation may be able to boost local businesses or boost local production or IGR, as it were. But how many states are able to even produce? Take mining, for instance. States are not even allowed to mine.
Yeah, it falls under the exclusive.
The exclusive. So what do you want? Is it only farming that you want, governors, or these little moribund companies? How many states have what
about
it takes?
Agriculture? We're talking about agricultural potentials, especially in a state like Benue, that is referred to as the food basket of the nation, but you don't even have agro-processing industries in that place. You have nothing to show for it. So this shouldn't just be an opportunity, an avenue for governors to begin to put on their thinking cap. Then also, Ben, I want to ask about, that famous thing about in some northern states where you have Sharia, for example, where they say don't bring in alcohol. And then people are now saying, okay, if you say you will not consume because it's based on derivation and consumption. Okay, so you are stopping people, you are persecuting people for taking certain things, yet you want to take VAT from that particular item that you're forbidding in your terrain. So it makes a lot of sense to speak about these things. What do you say?
Yeah, if we go that route, it will be sentimental because the application should also be that where truly, just check the people who produce these commodities and check where they are truly consumed. Consumption is even high in those places, and they are even more expensive because you have to smuggle them into those places in some kind of way, But I'm saying that yes, this may be a wake-up call, but it's not just something that should happen so quickly. We should transit into it. We should start off and say, look, can we begin to look inwards? Can we begin to check each state? There was a policy policy that came up and say, okay, one crop for one local government or one project for one local government. Have we been able to do that? What we are even if we say one project for one state, it will even be hard because some states are so backward.
Honestly.
But, so we need to begin to check development at the grassroots.
Okay. Now
that we are looking at autonomy, even though some states are challenging it, but let's go back and say, what can the local governments begin to do with the monies they get? What can they begin to do? There are states where the local government chairman, all he gets in the end of the month is barely enough to pay salaries. So how do you expect development? Yes, so we need to begin to channel development from down upwards. If we go back to the grassroots and say, Governor, we want to challenge you to allow your local government work. Yeah. First, let's allow the elections. After elections, let's be accountability. Let there be a peer review mechanisms among area council chairmen or local government chairmen to say, okay, what's your project for this year? At the end of 1 year, can we review and see, did you achieve it? Because people just go. If you aggregate campaign promises for politicians, you'll be shocked. As if they are people from Mars. You'll be promising certain things that are not even within your purview. They are not even practical.
Exactly.
So why are you promising these things? So I even think that politicians need to be taught how to campaign first, so that you can deliver what you even promised. There are certain promises even for this current administration. If you go back to their campaigns, they were saying things that if they look back now and they will ask themselves, did we promise these things? Because you can't do them. They are not workable. They are not for Nigeria. That's how bad it is. So we need to go back and recondition our minds as a country. Say, look, at that local level, what is doable? What is possible? Check a House of Reps or a senator who is promising people road. He's promising them to build hospitals. That is not his job. But then the people will begin to judge you based on how many burial ceremony you attended, how many wedding you have attended, how many roads you have built, or how many transformers. That's not your job. So we judge people based on the wrong criteria. Let's begin to redefine criteria and say, look, for development purposes, this is what we require. For economic purposes, this is what we require. From the governor, this is what we need you to do. From the states, this is your responsibility. And then you set parameters to judge them. Until we are able to do that, we'll still be going around the old circle and getting people to tell us that they will be put ACs on our streets or give us rainfall during the Hamilton.
So in the instance where this is passed, this VAT bill is passed into law, what do you think that portends for some of these states, especially ones that are highly disadvantaged, like you mentioned? We can begin to mention them. I mean, if you check some of the poorest states, that they just depend on this FAC allocation. FAC allocation, they can't wait for the end of the month, and all that. So what do you think will be a consequence for such states that are highly disadvantaged? Forget a state like Lagos, Kano, probably a Kaduna of this world, Port Harcourt, and one or two states that we can call that can be able to stand on their feet. What happens to some of those really disadvantaged states?
Well, one of the key or immediate response would be inflationary pressure. There will be increase in VAT rates. Of course, it will lead to higher prices of goods, services, and inflation. It will also impact particularly low-income households. You see that.
Wait, apart from the inflation that we're having in the country, is going to add more.
It will become worse, yes, of course. Then there will be regional disparities, as seen with rejection by the northern governors. There will be. Of course, it will not be the same. If we had that before with the 13% derivatives.
Yes,
you see.
yeah.
But that also will not promote development. It may promote corruption, because some governors became big, too big even to be conquered or by anybody. They became big. Some eventually devolved into godfathers who threatened governors after them. So that's some challenge that we'll face, because they got so much money. They don't even know how to spend it. Some of them fought over oil wells. A lot of things will come out. I think it's better if you control it at the central. Some states also don't have capacity to control too much. So it will be a problem, while the poorer states may manage what they have or shrink in their responsibilities. Those who have more money may not may not imply that they'll be able to do better. We've seen with Ompa Deck, with the Super Deck, we saw all those things around the Niger Delta issue, where there were much money, but you see roads are not still bad. You construct road and pour laterite, pour granite, and the next day the rain comes and washes everything away. So we've seen all of that. That also was not development, even though there was more money. Most of the money were going into the hands of the governors and the contractors. So if we have a central system where the federal government is able to channel monies raised from VAT into true development, and I want to believe that that's what the president is doing with the creation of the regional ministries instead of Niger Delta Ministry. Then we can put in money into these places so they can work within the regions and see what needs to be done. For me, that's better than throwing all the monies into the hands of the governors. Let's work with the governors. Let them be able to relate with these regional bodies and say, okay, this is what we need, so that we do this maybe in a counterpart nature where they present certain amount and the federal brings the other amount and we get it work. We saw it with the NNDC, where we saw it also with OMPADEC and the SUPADEC. Let's get this to happen. But I fear that if we push this forward, the governors may create bad blood for it, and if possible, there may be they may shunt it. Yes, we may not even get the kind of money we're expecting from the VAT.
Okay. Well, you can be a part of this discussion right now. We've heard us talking about, the current energy crisis in the nation, in the oil and gas sector, and what ought to be done. Also, yes, the derivative and consumption tax bill that is before the legislative arm of government. We understand that it has gone through the first reading. What holds for various states, especially disadvantaged one, with the northern governors coming together to say, well, we do not want this. Lots and lots of questions, but we've tried to navigate and try to project to see what could likely be the outcome of this decision. We'll wait to see if they'll carry on with it or if it's going to meet any roadblock ahead. But for now, I think the National Assembly is still proceeding. 0700 951 0000 and 08095974869. WhatsApp is 080 999 30137. Hello. Good afternoon.
Now, tell the bisa kan one and 2 billion human have amazing.
Afternoon.
My name is Salasi. In fact, with the topic they just started about this energy. Last week Saturday, I was at a PTA meeting. They prepare our mind that now, in fact, they just increased the bus fare. They say we all know they have been increasing fuel. Then the next school fees that we are going to pay, almost 20 to 30%. So these are the situation now that they have prepared our mind against next year. So I see NMPC as a problem of this country. I'm telling you, and we still have the president as the Minister of Petroleum. Use that power. We are talking of Desani. Can this National Assembly invite president to come and explain what is happening with our petroleum sector? Even the Minister of State can go. So president should have appointed a minister that the National Assembly, if they deem it to see, they can call them. As we are saying, if care is not taken, we may end up buying this fuel at the rate of 2,000 naira. I was in Bochi and other places. We were buying fuel at the rate of 1,500 naira. And the problem is you are not even sure of the liters you are buying. See, I prefer even buying for gallon, because if I'm buying for gallon, I know how much the liter, the quantity, than to go to filling station, divide 1,002, you may end up buying at the rate of 1,700. So these are the situation that Nigerians are going through. And many people are being pushed out of work because of these high fuel prices. People can go out. Just imagine the number of consumption. Drastically, now we are consuming about how many million? Now turned to 4 million per day. Does it mean we are progressing? We are progressing. I think something needs to be done about this petroleum section.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Your Excellency, Barrister Swat.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, the half man, half amazing, the chief priest. In fact, let me remember him. That time he used to tell us 11:11. There is one thing I just observed. Oga Ben, you must give us this. You must give us this formula. You are getting younger. Someone is getting younger.
I remember almost I'm calling from PW Kubo this afternoon. Brother Selassie, take time mobile and Nanuga say President is not the Minister of Petroleum, is the minister, he oversee all the ministers. I know on go bail you for DSS hand. Oga Ben have said it all. The truth of the matter is this: there is insincerity in virtually all the things we do in this country, both from the part of the government and the part of the followers. Like my big brother Salashi said, NNPC is the major impediment to the development of the oil sector in this country. And except that place is unbundled, I don't know if it is right to say the demons there are casted out. It will keep going from bad to worse. And Oga Ben, as you rightly said on the VAT issue, all the VAT that has been collected, that has been generated, what has it been done? What has the government used it for? We need to see concrete evidence of how much is generated and how much is expended on projects. You cannot find it, and you still want to tax people. Is it not when you provide enabling environment that there will be more jobs, there will be more opportunities, that you can generate more tax? You have not created an avenue where people will even work, and you are trying to tax them. Are you going to tax people that are not working? People are losing jobs. Industries are closing, and you still want to tax. So me, I'm even confused. I'm confused sometimes, honestly. Let me give chance for others to open. Chief Prince, shrine.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, which shrine? Tell us about it. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I give our chief priest, Oga Morikarizwa. Abakar calling from Bogota.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? Has issue of this energy become a burden? It has become a cost. And we Nigerians cannot benefit. It's not doing wealth. It's not doing prosperity. It is inflicting hardship. The qualities of this energy we don't know. It brings money to favor just few elements. The ruling class, the ruling cronies of recent, just we did the week, we had it was in the media that Niger, our next door neighbor, they have entered into treaty with Canada to build their second refinery. So this issue of oil being another source of budget to Nigeria, it's better, like some people have been praying, that this oil should dry up so that we can go for the diversified economy. It's pushing people into others of aspects of that place. That's like me. They said it's juju for us. Let this oil dry. Please to pray. When I require, thank you.
All right. Interesting. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Swat.
Welcome.
And I say a very good afternoon to Ben 200.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you, sir? This is Hola, the Hindu Mitigo. I'm calling from Blue Bay.
Welcome.
You know, I think at this point in time, Nigerians just have to prepare their minds towards, paying through their nose for any service this administration renders. Or simply put, we have a government that does not believe that some Nigerians have to get any service for free. You have to pay through your nose before you get it. Was not this president that told us last week that it's better you choose them to buy fuel for 1,000 naira per liter, or you go for CNG. I think that CNG itself is very cheap. I think it's very cheap. Now, how many Nigerians can afford that installation cost? How many Nigerians can afford almost 700 naira to install the CNG tank? Then afterwards, buying the CNG was itself, how many Nigerians can afford it? So we just have to prepare our minds towards that. And that shows in them, the back and forth on what are we supposed to pay for, what is the ideal price for petroleum and this and that. Look, it shows that the president has already, he has made up his mind with the fact that, look, Nigerians come concern have to pay for stuff. However you do it, doesn't concern them. And lastly, let me quickly add it before I go to this call. Ben Chua mentioned before that we have to teach our politicians how to campaign. And it was careful when we said that thing. Look, it's not about teaching people. It's not that these people didn't know what they're telling Nigerians when they were campaigning. They knew right, deep down within them that they were lying to Nigerians. It's just a symptom of a nation that's lost its moral values. Just then, when you know that, look, you are lying to your fellow human being. All these things you are promising, first of all, you don't have those figures available. At your disposal, you are lying. Secondly, if you have them, you know that the revenue stream of the government you claim, you want to serve, does not even have, cannot even support it. So the net effect of it is that
all right.
Nigeria they've completed this habit of lying to their fellow human beings. And it's just that
thank you.
Moral values as a nation. That's just the summary. Thank you very much.
All right. Let's take this one then. We will read messages. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Then 200.
Good afternoon.
This is Sunshine. I'm calling from Austria.
Ah, Sunshine. It's been a while. How you make sun to shine for Abuja like this?
I dey see you for camera. I dey see you for online. I see you waving. You are waving your hand.
Yes.
Well done.
You are very correct.
Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
It is because of you I say I must call.
Thank you.
Our family, everybody,
Fine.
Yes, so I just called in to say hello. Auntie Swat.
Yes, ma'am.
You two, you are not looking bad, though.
Thank
you are looking as well. You are looking beautiful.
I wish we will see you. We will see you, Sunshine. We want to see you. Come back to Nigeria very soon. Come and visit us.
Make una come take hungry, fire my head. Everything don't cost. I dey fear, I dey run.
B, it's all good. Thank you so much for calling.
All
right. Okay, so yes, let's read messages. By the way, we're streaming live. I forgot to mention that when we started. You can join us on our YouTube page on Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja and get to connect with Ben, see him, and you can just drop your messages, or you can just go to our Facebook page. We're streaming live and also drop your messages. I'll get to read that in a bit, but let's start with the WhatsApp messages here. We have lots and lots of them here. So let me start. Oh my God, this thing is... Okay, let me take this call before I'm able to get across the messages. Hello?
You mentioned that one.
Hello. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Or you can just go to our I have a hole back there. And also drop your messages. I'll get to read that in a bit.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Where is this? The WhatsApp messages here.
Yeah.
We have
this is Pastor TJ from Dubai.
Okay, so welcome, Pastor TJ.
Yeah, I want to greet Ben 200. Ben 200.
Yes, sir.
Because I battle your friend, I'm really angry with you.
So you have not brought anything to the shrine.
I will bring Holy Ghost fire to the shrine. I have Holy Ghost fire to bring to the shrine. Where is Auntie Nya?
She's fine.
Oh, I miss you guys so seriously. I just on my radio, I heard 200 and I'm so happy.
Yeah, so it's family, so we come back once in a while.
Yes. Thank you, Pastor TJ.
Yeah, God will be with you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Be careful the way I deal with about what's in the Ben 200.
Yeah. We have Thursday service at the shrine.
Oh, God. All right. Thank you, Pastor TJ. Let's get to read some of the messages that we have here today. This one says, good afternoon, Swat and Ben 200. Who is top-notch with his analysis on national issues? If Nigerians don't come out with the voice of unity to demand the outright resignation of the Minister of Petroleum and the GMD of NMPCL, we're going to continue suffering from unnecessary hardship in that sector, since the government are not showing any intent to stamp out the problem in our energy sector. We may be in for more agonizing situation in as much as we continue on this status quo and paying from this country's dynamics of unending fuel pump price hike, says Zax in Kuchikau. Okay, this one said, Oga Ben, I hope those color nuts you have been breaking since 1770 are still available. I also hope you brought some to the studio. Bakar Ali, and Ali Babang Ali from Kubwa. Thank you so much. This one said, he's King from Wuse. He said, your speaker points, I guess, are the reason why Nigeria is not progressing. The new Nigerian tax reform respects principle of true federalism by directing a portion of tax revenue back to the states where it's generated. This encourages states to actively boost their own economies rather than relying on handouts from others. For too long, states that work to increase their revenues have been subsidizing those that don't. With this reform, states are incentivized to generate their own income and become self-sufficient, creating a more balanced and responsible federal structure that rewards hard work and initiative across Nigeria. That's what King opines this afternoon. Swat and Uncle Ben, good afternoon. So Uncle Ben is still in Abuja. I thought he would have jumped to Ecuador. Anyway, he said this fuel matter is horrible, but eventually what is being hidden will be revealed at last. There's nothing more annoying than buying fuel at such an exorbitant rate and having to queue for it. The problem is lack of patriotism, corruption, and, okay, I guess we'll have to stop for this quick commercial, come back and begin to wrap up things. Stay with us. Okay, we don't have any commercial anyway. So let me just round up this from Jay in Garki. He said the problem is lack of patriotism, corruption, and impunity on all fronts.
This